You're listening to From a Certain Point Askew, the only Star Wars podcast to cover the ending of the Bad Batch. Yep, that's it. The ending. It's over. Finished. They're all dead.
Oh.
All of them.
No.
No? Oh, I must have watched a different episode.
No, you're right, because this did happen a long time ago.
That's true. In a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
Guess what, guys? I'm Jason, the Angry Ginger Jedi guy, broadcasting live from inside my very own Wookiee Poo Studios. You're hearing me talk to not myself, but another guy. His name, Darth Mathias.
Happy, well, I was going to ask you, did you get those Star Wars Celebration tickets for Japan next year?
Pre-May the 4th? I did not, because you acted like you wanted to do a little couples thing later on in the year.
I think it might be a little spendy to try to make the Japan
I didn't even look to see what the tickets were, but you're right. I'm sure the flight's going to be the most.
Oh, God. The flights and the accommodations, there's just no fucking way.
Right. You know what we should have done? We should have just got like tickets, got a flight, not even got a hotel room, and just counted on the kindness of our fellow listeners and other Star Wars compatriots to room and board us.
Oh, man. Hey, guys. You got extra space? We'll sleep on the couch. No big deal. Yeah. You guys get an Airbnb over there or something?
Yeah. You got room, right?
Oh, my God. By the way, I was going to mention to you because tomorrow's May the 4th. And so this episode, hopefully I'll get it out as quickly as possible. We'll come out the day before that. And we have a special May the 4th episode coming. So that'll drop tomorrow. Yeah. But I can't, maybe I said this to you in DM. I can't remember. Did I mention to you that my conversation I had with neighbor Steve, the supplier of our giveaway?
Yeah, I think you did say something.
Okay. So yeah, last weekend we were sharing a load of bark dust. And
bark dust?
Yeah, we were getting some bark dust out. I had to lay some bark dust down in each of our respective, properties.
Okay.
And so he said, you probably call it mulch. We always call it bark dust. So we got to talking, and he was saying something about I had loaned him A New Hope version of the From a Certain Point of View book. And he's like, I'm liking the stories. Some of them are pretty good. He's like, but honestly, your stories are better. And I was like, oh, wow, thanks. He said, yeah, he goes, you guys might refer to Spotchka a little too much. But other than that, I think your stories are great. I love that. Thank you, neighbor Steve.
I feel like we have our go-tos, so it had to be quite littered with our go-tos in those stories.
It's a lot of Spotchka references. Yeah, I guess we should expand on the various alcohols that you could drink in the Star Wars universe, not just Spotchka.
I will say I don't think there's one mention of Spotchka in any of the writings I did.
There you go, Steve.
Yeah,
that's for you.
For you, Steve.
If you'd like to find our show from a certain point of skew.com, we're on Twitter at FACPA pod. You can email us, facpapod@gmail.com. Let me make sure I get this right. The voicemail line is 678-FACPA77. That's 678-322-7277. Max Rebo is doing a lot of, sending me a lot of messages about how he's like, your number's wrong. You got the number wrong. I'm like, what? I had it right, I think, in the show notes, but I think I said it wrong on the show. So apologies. I had my numbers lined up incorrectly with the letters.
Max Rebo should be used to that. Every time you got a girl's number, it didn't connect.
Well, yeah. Oh, boy. Wow. This isn't Jenny. Oh, shoot. Yeah. Foiled again. So we're doing a giveaway that is going to end soon. So we're actually going to run that giveaway through not next week's episode, but the week after, because we're going to kind of do a May the 4th recap next week, and then we'll do the Bad Batch kind of look back, and that's when we'll do the giveaway in 2 weeks. So still have an opportunity to get involved, answer our question of the week, send us email, send us voicemail, write a review, all that kind of stuff, and you get entries.
Write a story for the next,
or you can
the next book.
It's basically an ongoing thing. So whenever you want to send us a story, there's going to be a next volume of that. But yeah, volume 2 coming up tomorrow, volume 3 sometime this summer or maybe this fall.
Yep. On the show today, hold on, I have a dog sniffing the crotch. Go.
Oh boy, that's always fun.
Get in there. On the show, question of the week, next animated series. We got in the news, one thing, Skeleton Crew item. Then we're going to talk the Bad Batch, episode 15, the Cavalry Has Arrived. And then the Maul Bag, one damn email, but we'll read it. And then one awesome voicemail, I am assuming, in the FACPA Answering Machine.
Yes. Yeah, that's the first one we've actually had come through the voicemail line.
Oh.
And you'll hear it.
How's it sound?
Well, it doesn't sound great because I think he's in his car. But hey, whatever, it works. We want to make it convenient for you to send in your messages, however.
I hope it was real Farm Boy, because then we can add a rocking chair sound in his car.
In his car. Question of the week. I put out there, what should be the next Star Wars animated series? Main characters, title, main plot, etc. Ash Rendar says, Ash Rendar, duh, and sends some great imagery that she has of her character, Ash Rendar. Did Lucasfilm steal this character for the end of the episode of The Bad Batch?
Dude, when I looked at this a minute ago and I opened up the notes, it's exactly what I thought. I was like, that looks like her older.
I swear to God, when I was watching the show and and that scene came up, I was like, Ash Rendar's in this?
Yep.
That'd be amazing.
We're just going to find out that's what Omega names herself, Ash Rendar.
I've been talking to Ash Rendar to Omega this whole time.
Wouldn't that be crazy? It's Jennifer Corbett's burner account.
Max Rebo says, apparently there isn't enough there for a series based on the life of the criminal mastermind Max Rebo. I think he's mad because we shat a little bit on his story idea. So I'll give a real answer. And I'd like to see a post-Rise of Skywalker series to lay the groundwork of the upcoming Rey movie with new main characters, but different episodes will have cameos. Okay.
I wouldn't be against that.
I wouldn't either. I'm up for that era. Josh Garzanidi says, I'd be down for more Reign of Empire, Age of Rebellion stuff. That's more gritty than Rebels. He wants it down in the dirt. So he probably liked Andor.
Loved it.
Yeah. Adelphi Rangers, NRSF, says, I had to pull this from my reply to the last question of the week. Just recycling stuff. Post Return of the Jedi, Adelphi Rangers along the lines of Mike Stackpole's Rogue Squadron books. He gives a little shout out. He loves to shout out people with the ats. Always does.
He does.
Fighting pirates and Imperial remnants in the nascent First Order. Mix in an arc with Maz and another with Luke and Lando. Luke and Lando would be fun. It's so hard to do that now. I mean, I guess as an animated series it'd be easier, but to do that series would be kind of tricky at this point.
Even you got to read that book. What was it called? Shadows of the Sith, or it was like the prequel book to the Force Awakens.
Yeah,
explains a lot of things, like gives more backstory to things. It's a good book, but a lot of Luke and Lando.
Does it get into them going after that character Oki or whatever that guy's name is? Ochi. Yeah.
Ochi Bastoon.
That's him. Finally, Hyperspace Heroes, Brown Leader, says, in a post-sequel trilogy era, ace pilot and master spy Kazuda, oh no, becomes the new head of Rogue Squadron and leads an elite team fighting pirates and First Order remnants. I'm going to guess you're not up for that.
I'm not. In fact, I hope that first script gets burned.
Thank you, everybody, for sending in your answers to our question of the week. News, just a quick one here. Haven't heard much lately on the Skeleton Crew stuff, but there was some recent news that I thought was worth mentioning now that series is on deck, I guess you could say. Carrie Condon, who's in the show, recently said the following in an interview where the show came up, quote, it's so great. I like you're talking about your own project. It's so great.
Yeah.
I don't even have kids, but I'd pay to see this. I loved it. I loved being on it. There was something about it and that was so innocent and playful and lovely. It's really adventurous, and they got such great directors for each episode. The Daniels, Bryce Dallas Howard, there you go. Lee Isaac Chung.
Remember, like a couple weeks ago, we were talking about, is she doing an episode? Literally, either later on that day after we recorded, or it was the next day. I see the list of directors. I was like, oh yeah, duh.
This is the way. It always is. Mm-hmm. The amount of times that I find something after recording is just
after. Yeah.
David Lowery. It was a pretty amazing group, and of course, John Watts, who created the whole thing. She also said something about how like people say don't work with kids, but they were great. I love that. A lot of people have kind of likened this to Stranger Things or E.T. or something like that. And I guess I missed this quote before from Kathleen Kennedy. She said that when Watts approached her saying he wanted to make sort of like a Goonies in Star Wars,
right?
Which checks out as well. I'm totally up for that. And just from the little bits we've seen of the show, that absolutely makes sense.
Well, I don't remember if that was like the original pitch but when Stranger Things came out, that was a big comparison. It was like a Goonies type thing, and like the Amblin feel. Yes. And that's sort of what this was as well. So I'm kind of excited for it.
Well, I'm totally excited. When you consider the fact that I'm a big Jude Law fan, when you consider the fact that it's about kids going on an adventure and dealing with pirates, it's all Goonie-esque. So
yes.
Makes sense.
Yeah. One-Eyed Willie.
I have seen that movie way too many times.
Hold on, I want to give a shout out to the defunct 213 podcast who did a coverage of the Goonies one time, and their breakdown was pretty damn good, actually.
Did they do it? I'm trying to remember that now.
They had a whole like backstory about the maid Like
Really?
Yeah, like there was so much stuff that they
this.
had about that, and I was like, I never thought about this movie from that perspective. Like all the stuff they were hitting at, I was like, I love it.
I didn't even think about that. Wow. Well, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to go back and check out that episode if it's still up. The Cavalry Has Arrived. It's a small cavalry, but it checks out.
Well, it depends on a lot of double entendres for their titles.
Yes.
So we could refer to the end as well, and then that's a bigger one.
That is a bigger one for sure.
Little late though.
Yeah, just got there just a skosh late.
Right.
When I watched this the second time with my lads, I think I told them something like, well, get your Kleenex out. We get through the whole episode and they're like, why'd you say get the Kleenex out? I'm like, no reason.
I wonder if it hits like older people more, like being a parent.
Absolutely.
Being a parent of a child. I wonder if that's the thing.
Yes, we'll get into that when we get to the end. But as a parent, it is like fucking right in the chest.
Yeah.
So Echo, by the way, just had to mention off the top, MVP performance these last couple episodes. Just fucking dominating this shit. I mean, he really shows how all of his capabilities.
Boy, they held him off too. Like, where is he? Where is he? All season, we're like, where's Echo? And then he comes in and he's just like steals the damn show.
Fucking dominates. So, oh, and by the way, did you like, as we get into this, did you like the title card?
Oh, like right away, I'm like, oh, we're in for something. Yeah. And then as it like all the robots are like just like chromed out.
Yeah.
Then it goes to the Bad Batch. It changes. It doesn't burn or anything like it did originally. Just like fades to like black and white.
Yep.
And then right away I go, uh-oh. So I move the mouse to see how long the episode is. 51 minutes. I go, oh shit, we're in for a big one.
I know. I gave you that tease on DM. I was like, I don't want to give away anything, but it's 51 minutes. That was the first thing I looked at when it popped up on the screen. Because what I always do is, my tradition is I'll load the Disney Plus screen up for whatever show it is that's coming at midnight, and then I'll be doing other shit. Then I'll like flip back and be like, did they post it a little early? Refresh?
Okay.
No, okay. So I refreshed. I'm like looking. I was like 51 minutes. Thank God.
Yeah.
If it said 24 minutes, I was going to be so pissed. I mean, the main thing we start with is Hemlock and Rampart. This is what I was waiting for. Was these two guys getting into it? Because Hemlock you see him order extra security on the vault, and they said, "Oh, we found one of the insurgents." So he goes and pays a little visit to Rampart, who's locked up in a cell, and they proceed to just get their dicks out and measure right in front of each other.
Right.
It's just a full on like It was a fun little back and forth that I think we thought was gonna happen.
Yep.
And Rampart's just shitting all over the current security problems, just like trying to throw it in Hemlock's face. And Hemlock's just basically like, well, I'm vital to the Emperor's plans, so you're not. So fuck off. Bye.
You're in a cell.
Yeah.
I'm leaving right now.
See you later. I mean, and there was that pause where he leaves and says, like, basically, you're not crucial or whatever. You're not needed. And for a second where you're like, they could have somebody just walk in and blast him.
They should have had Rampart go, you're not needed either.
Yeah. We also see, by the way, that directly across the cell from him is Nala Se, just staring at him. You mother.
They should have had her pacing like a tiger, like just ready to fucking kill him.
Let me at him.
That would have been the ultimate move. Is Rampart gives her like a knife and just opens her cell, gives her a knife, and she like walks into his, just starts shaking him for all of my people.
She moves so slow and talks so slow though. I don't know if it would work out for her.
That's true. Yeah, that'd be even worse. Just like a pregnant pause, stabbing.
Right, slowly doing it over and over. Yeah. You will die now. By the way, I forgot that it's Hemlock's left hand that's his issue, not the right hand. So this goes against our theory last week that we got from Max Rebo about the swapsies with Crosshair and jerking each other off and all that stuff that we were talking about. Omega, we go to Omega, and she's like talking about the escape plan with the kids, and they're like, "Are you serious?" Like they're not buying it at first. They wait till Dr. Scalder isn't looking, and she goes over and just fucking jams their little tool right in the back of that.
Prison shanks that thing in the back.
Oh, God, just takes it down. And then she's reprogramming it while Scalder's walking down. She comes down and walks in, and I got to say, watching this the first time, I was fucking laughing watching the droid slowly move around behind her, knowing it was coming.
He was creeping.
Yes, I'm laughing out loud just waiting for it, to the point where I didn't even pick up. When I watched it the second time, I was like, oh, that's what they were saying to each other. I had no idea what they said to each other because I was so focused on the thing turning around and going to stab her. Oh, fuck, that was funny. Did you notice that after Scalder stabbed and put down, and the kids are like starting to get ready, Omega picks up her head and like puts it to the side? Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
I was like, is she gonna take her headgear or something? What'd she do? I didn't know what she was doing. Okay. I think it was showing just a little bit more of Omega's empathy toward everyone. She
Sure,
literally,
right.
because she was face down, like mouth on the ground.
Let me lay on the side of your head.
Yeah, picks her head up
Yeah.
and moves her to the side.
Here's a little cement pillow.
I thought it was kind of nice. They throw Baron in the sling and throw him on the back of Jax.
Yeah.
And then I noticed it right away, that the fact that Eva's got the doll
Hers
strapped to
in
her
the
back.
Yeah, that's pretty cute.
So they were making their way through the shaft. I'm going to kind of mix stuff up a little bit here just
Sure.
for the sake of, staying on target here. They're kind of making their way through the shafts, and they get to the place where they're holding the Zillo Beast. And while Omega sneaks in to unleash the beast, so to speak, the poor little Baron is just getting fussy. Just hasn't had his food, or he's got a wet diaper. Something's going on.
Yep. Someone changed my ass.
Check his diaper. The troopers find them, but it's a little too late because the beast is free. And the look on the face. Go ahead.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. The guy had an 1800s fucking George Washington wig on. Did you see that big
you know what he looked like to me? I thought he was the lead singer of the Proclaimers. He's like, I will shit 500.
He had this
pounds.
weird fucking tight curled perm.
It was so funny. I just love that character, and every one of them had that same reaction of oh fuck.
Yep.
So the beast starts absolutely ripping shit up. It was the perfect diversion. Well done, Omega. Great plan. And I love how now the fact that the thing's just going nuts, that she climbs climbs back in with the rest of the kids. And
I like how the kid's not crying now.
Yeah, Jax goes, now? Yeah. He needed the white noise. He needed the white noise of the destruction of the Zillo Beast.
It was too quiet.
Too quiet, yeah. Switching over to Emery and Echo, they're talking, and Emery's basically saying how, I need to get you to the vault. I can get you in there. That's where she is. But you gotta come with me. And he's like, why are you helping me? And she said, I'm trying to do the right thing.
Yeah, I've been fucking up a lot lately.
She knows that she needs to make amends here. That's kind of her focus the rest of the episode. She keeps saying it, keeps talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
She explains why, as they're walking through the vault, she explains why the Emperor wanted these kids, and then Omega is a crucial part of Project Necromancer. I like how he's like, that doesn't sound good. No, it does not. They make their way into the vault just as Scalder's being escorted out, looking real fucking woozy.
Yeah, they didn't even get a last look, I hate you, bitch.
Just walked right by.
Yeah, we didn't get the slap fight we wanted.
No.
Let down.
And I mean, you're meant to believe she's going to be murdered as she leaves the room, because he's like, she will be dealt with. So I don't know that she made it.
And then what's he say? Now consider your fate tied to them as well.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Because what he finds out that as they're sitting there talking, and he explains that the kids have escaped, that's when the thing comes through to Scorch that the Zillo Beast is loose. Right. And he says what does he say? Is that I think you said it right. I think he said your fate is tied to hers. Mm-hmm. So Echo realizes it was Omega who released the Zillo.
Right.
She's like, how do you know? That's what I would do. They're so in lockstep.
Yep.
She is fully a member of the Bad Batch.
Mm-hmm.
The whole time, the Batch, by the way, is outside trying to make their way to Tantus.
I like how it opens up, and immediately you don't forget that Wrecker just battled a beast.
I know, and Crosshair's getting him shit about it. Was that a good idea? He's like, well, it seemed like it.
Seemed like it at the time. And they're like, hey, look over there. There's a balloon. And then they're shocking him with the med pack.
Yeah, right.
He's like, we're going to need another one.
That's like me. I don't like to look
big, man.
I don't like to look at shots. I always look away. It's the same thing. Yeah, he is struggling. So they're kind of making their way there, but he's trying to muscle up and do it. And they finally get to kind of the perimeter of Tantus, and they see all these patrols. And that's when, they're like, well, we'll find a way in. And Crosshair just fucking drops it on him.
Did you notice, you watched it twice? Did you did they look at their binoculars and they're seeing the troopers and the fucking little beasts,
Yeah.
Did you see the one, pulls so hard the trooper falls over?
I didn't notice that. I gotta go back and look at that.
He gets taken right to the ground, right to the face, man. I had to rewind. I go, wait a minute, did he face plant?
It's like my fucking dog pulling so hard on the damn leash.
That's pretty funny.
So when they say that, Wrecker's like, yeah, we've gotten into worse situations or something like that. And Crosshair says, he's trying to play the martyr.
Right.
Omega needs both of you. I should go. It's what I deserve. And he also says, Clone Force 99 died with tech, and everybody's just like, oh.
Right. But this is sort of what we expected, right? This was kind of a fooled you, because then they're like, no, we're doing this all together.
Yep.
But we expected Crosshair to do this.
Yeah, of course. And I can see why he would think that. The guy's got a ton of guilt on his conscience. He did a lot of fucking terrible stuff. So, So yeah, they're basically like, we're going to do this together. So just then, is when they see the Zillo Beast bust through the wall or the door. And there's another funny moment there where I think it's Crosshair says, Echo or Omega's handiwork? And they both go, Omega.
Omega, yeah.
That's kind of a running joke throughout the rest of this episode.
Yep.
As they get closer and closer to Tantus, Crosshair's hand just gets worse and worse. It just continues to be a problem. He can't even hold the fucking binoculars.
Right.
Omega, we go back to Omega. She's leading the kids up, I don't know, what would you say, 900-foot ladder?
Oh, geez, yeah.
I mean, shit, I wouldn't go up that ladder.
If I wasn't afraid of heights, I would be by the time I got halfway up that thing.
Oh, God, that was terrible. I don't blame Jax 1 ounce.
Right, that's a drop, man.
I mean, they don't even have it like the old school, like
I was just gonna say
the thing around the thing around
the shell around.
Yeah, right. Not even that. It's just
lean up against it or something. Like I need a break. Yeah,
it looked a lot like the ladder that Jyn has to climb when she finds her dad in Rogue One, and she has to climb up to the top of that thing. That's OSHA would have an issue. Let's just say that. So Hemlock is informed that the Zillo escaped, like I mentioned earlier. The thing wiped out a bunch of troops. And so he goes, send the shuttles after it. And they're like, well, dude. Scorch is like, it's going to leave us a little vulnerable. And he's like, yeah, don't worry about that. I got that shit covered.
Mm-hmm. I love that shot. He immediately goes to his little fucking secret room, hits the button.
Well, I like the fact that it shows him, it's that the way that it's moving, everything's moving behind him, and he's just like scurrying along, going. Like he's like, finally, I get to unleash them. He goes to the training room, which I guess is what we'll call it. And he pulls out his fancy new troops. Now, these things climb out of their pods like fucking zombies.
Oh no, they got like ninja zombies.
Well, they're ninja zombies, but they kind of have that like, the hands like coming out, like pulling themselves out of a fucking grave. That's what it looked like. And I think in my notes I refer to them as the zombie clones the rest of the way. So I don't know what else to call them.
Dude, I thought we were seeing like origin story of the Knights of Ren.
That's what they kind of look like. They have some helmets that kind of look like that, and they got
they all had like different helmets. They had different weapons, and the weapons kind of like I got to go back, but they all kind of I know the Knights of Ren, they each have a different type of weapon.
Yes,
and so do these ones, and that was like, wait, what are we seeing here?
Yeah, I know. For a second, I thought that, but I was like, the timing doesn't really work.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, they kind of had that vibe to them.
Right.
So this is what he's been creating, cooking in those little chambers. Hemlock's looking at him. He's just fully erect. He's like, yes.
Now I don't have to use my dead hand.
I was going to say it's like Hitler looking at the master race or something.
Yeah.
Emery and Echo continue to look for Omega and the kids, and they discover the area where the Zillo Beast just tore shit up. And then we get another funny line because he's like, well, we're on track. Omega came through here. It's a straight like rip off of, speaking of Goonies, it's a straight rip off of like Chunk and Goonies going, when he's going with Sloth through the basement area, and they find that room with all the fucking pipes everywhere, and he goes, yeah, Mikey's been here.
Yeah, he was here. Yeah.
So the Bats move in and get pinned down by a bunch of troopers, including our new troopers, and CX2 as well, who it turns out is nobody. All you fucking tech theorists.
It was Merrick.
It was Merrick. Wrecker and Hunter kind of bolt at least they kind of fall back while Crosshair is trying to slow down the Imperials. And we're getting Crosshair of old here.
Right.
I don't know what it is that's like allowed him to steady himself enough, but he is just shooting fools left and right.
So hold on, because you're bouncing around a lot. So now we're to the part where they've not been captured yet.
No, they just got inside.
This is the ninja fight here.
This is coming up is the fight, and this is where Crosshair, things are not going to go well for Crosshair.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, shit, as they're falling back and that pilot comes from the outside, like shooting through them through the open gap.
Right in the chest.
Right in the chest. Yeah. Chest
shot. A lot of death in this episode. This is where like the death count goes up. This is like an 80s horror movie.
We're not shooting stun here.
No, hell no. No. There's chest shots, head shots. There's fucking staff going through a chest. There's people falling off cliffs. Like this is, I think there's more deaths in this episode than all the whole entire series.
It could be. And I mean, unless Order 66, the first episode had more. But you're right. There's a lot of deaths. I mean, as much as we, in the end, we'll talk about that, how there weren't maybe some deaths we thought might happen as far as like the people that we were rooting for. There's a lot of deaths going on around them.
Yes.
Unfortunately, the Bats get taken down. So they start using those little weapons. That guy throws that thing and like wraps up Wrecker with his legs. And
electric bolo?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It looks like at one point, I mean, there's that shot they show kind of Crosshair's perspective where he sees Wrecker and the guys on top of him trying to like stab him with that charge, whatever those things are called. And he goes to try to shoot him, and CX2 walks up, steps on his hand, and then fucking cuts his hand off.
Man, didn't see that coming.
No, little vibro blade action there.
Uh-huh.
Aside from him just being a dick for doing that, I think he kind of, and we're supposed to realize, sort of unleashes Crosshair in a way, because he's taking the hand that has the embodiment of his trauma
that did all the bad.
Yeah, and that kind of like released him a bit to that degree. So that was cool.
Agree.
Back to Omega. She gets the kids to the hangar. They're just about like kind of to where they need to get, and they get captured by these troops. But in walks Echo, and he actually stuns him. He doesn't shoot him.
Right.
And I like how he goes, "Hey kids."
Yeah.
They get Emery and the kids aboard the shuttle, and they send them off to, well, we're to presume Pabu, and it is. And then Omega and Echo are gonna like go after the batch now.
Complete the mission.
It was a cool little scene there where the kids all hug Omega, and Emery kind of gives her like a, you got my word, I'll get him there.
Right.
So they take off. So they're out of play. Like, at least we got them off. Don't have to worry about them anymore. Back to the training room, where Hemlock and his half-chub are torturing the batch. His plan is to put them through the ringer and do this like treatment that he was essentially trying to do in Crosshair before, where he's converting them to like work for him and become these operators.
Let the brainwashing begin.
And he's like, hey, you know what? If it doesn't work out, we'll fucking throw you in the trash. It doesn't matter to us.
Yep, we got more we can test on. Hunter's like, we'll survive.
Yeah,
you won't. Like, oh, shit.
Hemlock gets a call from Tarkin, who says, hey, so I hear things aren't going great.
That's exactly what he said. Just wanted to rub it in a little bit.
Yeah, and I was at Rampart. Hemlock's like, no, we're good. Everything's fine. Like, don't look behind me or anything. Like, he's trying to like put on a strong face. And then he's like the guy in the old guy from Iraq. Everything's fine, or even like the Naked Gun thing. Everything's fine here.
Right,
go back to your home.
Building's blowing up behind him.
Nothing to see here.
He hangs up. Mom and Dad are going to be so pissed.
Tarkin said, by the way, I'm fucking coming.
Yep.
So as much as you think you got shit under control, you don't. Otherwise, I wouldn't have heard about it. I'm on my way. I finally got the coordinates. So Omega and Echo make their way to the cells. They start releasing all the clones and Nala and Rampart. And despite Rampart being like, dude, we got to get out of here. Of course.
Yeah.
We're not going to go help anybody. We got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And Echo says like, hey, clones don't leave our brothers behind. And then he delivers this impassioned speech to the clones saying like, look, I get it. You've all been like fucking mentally abused for the last however many months.
Right.
And physically abused. So if you just want to fuck off, go for it. But we could use some help. And they're all like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's do it.
Yep. Which is like a complete turnaround because the Bad Batch was always treated like shit by them.
Exactly. Yeah. Going back to the original episodes, they were treated like second-class citizens.
Yep.
So yeah, now they're all on board together. Nala Se is talking to Omega, and she's like, I need to make sure that my work does not fall into the Empire's hands. Like, we got to destroy it. She even says when Hemlock's gone, so she even mentions how Hemlock needs to be biting the dust as well.
Right.
And she says, and all the stuff needs to be destroyed. So Omega's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go to the lab. She's like, no, I got to do this. You go on. I thought it'd be a little bit more huggy, tearful goodbye there, but it was more of like all right, you go do your thing. I'll go do mine.
I don't think Omega caught on that this was a suicide mission.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
She'll make it out.
Yeah, she's still naive.
But as she goes off, Nala Se, to do this, you see sneaky little Rampart following her like, I'm going to see what's going on here. He gets to, we'll just go through their whole sequence. They get to the lab. He pulls his gun on her and he tells her like, hey, tell me everything about Project Necromancer. When he says he's like, going to use this information as a bargaining chip with the Empire.
Right.
Nala Se is like, this is never going to belong to you or the Empire. It will always be Kaminoan. And he's like, fuck off. And then just shoots her.
I like how she's got the detonator behind her back. So he's like, tell me everything. And then it cuts to a scene and comes back. And you can tell like she told him. Yeah. But she's like, you're going to die with this information anyways.
Yeah. So. She fired up that thing pretty quick. So she knew what was going to happen.
Now, do you think like, cause the Emperor is always like one step ahead, 12 steps ahead. You think like, so here's my thing. Does he got microphones? Are all these rooms bugged? And he's recorded like all these conversations. And then the second titty, that mountain's like a cold storage hard drive room. So he just like, I want all the audio from that room.
One would think he would have closed circuit, TV monitoring everything. But then again, the way people run around and don't get picked up, I don't think they went to that level, I guess. Yeah, we never do talk about what happens in that second mountain at the end, but that's okay. I'm sure it'll come up someday. We'll write a story about it.
Ooh.
There you go. So yeah, he shoots her. Her eyes go up and she drops, but what he didn't realize is she was holding a thermal detonator. And I kind of half expected to get that smirk where the guy looks down and goes, nah, shit, knowing I'm dead. Instead, and really in line with his character, he tries to say like, what the hell? And all he gets out is, whoa, boom. I did really appreciate the fact that the person on Twitter who put in his scream, it works so much better with his scream.
I laughed so hard when you sent that to me. We need to have that like as a drop.
Oh, it's so fucking good. I'll pull that. We need to incorporate it into all our stories.
Yes.
Cheers to Nalase, though. She gets the double whammy here. She destroys the data and gets to kill the person who fucking destroyed her whole world.
Right, exactly.
And I think we talked about how the prospect of Rampart dying, I think we kind of figured there was a very good chance he would die. Kind of figured Nalase would die. Yeah. So these are not surprising deaths. So Omega, back to that, sneaks into the kind of the shafts again, climbs her way through there to the back side of the training room. Mm-hmm. She's got eyes on the batch, and she tells Echo, and so Echo and the other clones burst into the room, guns blazing, and that's when the one dude, the one whatever you want to call it, zombie trooper, hits the button that fires it. I kind of forgot for a second it was the training room. I'm like, what are all these partitions going up everywhere? Oh, that's right. This is a training exercise.
Yep.
So that starts flying up everywhere, which creates this just chaos fight scene between all those troopers and the batch and and Echo and all those clones. Omega is able to get in there and unlock the restraints of the batch before she gets snagged by that trooper.
She unlocked the right one.
She did. She unlocked Wrecker. Yeah. And she shoots that dude a couple times with the stunner, and he just fucking keeps coming.
Mm-hmm. Which we saw earlier, the one where when Crosshair was fighting the CX1.
Oh, that's right. He had to hit him like 4 or 5 times.
3 or 4 times. It doesn't do anything. Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yep.
But as that happens, she gets grabbed, and then right then Hemlock walks in to just gloat about the fact that he caught her because he's such a prick. And then he unleashes the mustard gas on the clones.
Yes, he does.
And just is smiling the whole time. He's just so sadistic, this motherfucker. So Echo is putting in some great work here. I mean, he's trying to fend off these troopers and all their cool weapons. And it's at this point I'm going, Echo's going to bite the farm.
Well, he gets fucking stabbed in the back.
Yes, and I don't know if it was on his pack or actually hits him in the back, but it's one of those vibro blades or whatever. It goes right into his back, and I'm like, oh no, he's not going to make it.
There's a lot of him that's dead inside anyways, right?
That's true.
So he just doesn't feel anything.
So he gets the vibro blade to the back. He basically gets pinned down and guns drawn on him. Like he's fucked. And I'm like, well, shit, they're just going to shoot him. Why keep him?
Yeah.
But maybe they're thinking about torturing him and turning him into an operative as well. I don't know. Scorch runs in to inform Hemlock. He's like, the lab's been destroyed. And Omega's just like, ha ha ha, that's right, bitch. So she tells him, you failed. And he's like, well, I still got you, which comes into play very much so in a minute. But that's when she delivers the line. Very like goosebumpy. You're forgetting one thing. I have them. That's when Wrecker pops up, does a leg press of that fucking thing right into everybody.
Whatever writer was writing this, because I think there's a few on this one, right? Like whoever like got this scene was watching the Avengers, because this is straight up like I have a Hulk.
Yeah, right. Yeah, totally. And he is the Hulk. So he starts fucking shit up, and then that's when Hemlock goes over, grabs her, and puts the binders on her and him.
Yep.
And he goes over and tells CX2. Well, he takes CX2's little patch that's got the controls to the ship. Right. And he's like, hey, you need to take care of them. We're going to get the fuck out of here. Mm-hmm. By the way, it's at this point where I think Hunter comes out and Crosshair comes out. The fighting still continues. And Wrecker tells Hunter, go get Omega, and then performs this like form tackle on a dude straight over the edge.
Straight out the glass window.
down the training room. And then later when he's fighting off all these dudes with Echo, he fucking puts a guy's head through a partition.
Great
scene.
Like you see a shot afterwards where all you see is shoulders and a slumped body, and the head is in there somewhere.
Oh, it's so good.
Holy shit.
That was a great move. Hunter, meanwhile, goes full Schwarzenegger and Commando and fucking throws the spear thing right through the guy's chest into the machine. I just wanted him to go,
call.
Yeah, let off some steam, Bennett. Back to Hemlock and Scorch. They're scurrying out to this platform, trying to call in the ship to get the fuck out of there. It's Hemlock, Scorch, and Omega. Pouring rain, of course. You know, kind of like a little throwback to Camino or whatever. And he calls the ship in, and just as it arrives, boom, boom, engines get shot out and dropped. And we see that it's Hunter and Crosshair who've shown up. And they're doing this great, like, because Crosshair's pretty fucked up at this point. So Hunter's having to, like, kind of help him and walk with him and secure his gun at the same time. They're like one unit.
Yep.
I mean, that's teamwork.
Fucking cool shot. This reminded me of, like, how many 90s cop movies?
Yeah.
You know, end like this. Like, take the shot. You
right.
know, they got the hostage, and I'm like, all I hear is Mike Lowry. Fucking the end of Bad Boys. Boucher, I bet you when you woke up this morning, you'd think about 5 o'clock, you'd have a bullet in your leg.
It's a little bit of like Untouchables. You got the shot? Take the shot.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of that. It's a little bit of like the guy in Lethal Weapon 2. Diplomatic immunity has just been revoked.
That's what it was reminding me of. It was like, because it was the first Lethal Weapon where they're fighting in
the yard.
Right, yeah, and the water spraying everywhere.
Yep.
Or you've got Lethal Weapon 4 where they fight Jet Li.
Yes.
And it's the two of them. So I was waiting for like Hargrove. Got to use it one more time to just like fucking take off his shirt. Like it just goes to a fucking 5-minute fight between them.
You know he's skinny fat. You know, it's kind of like underdeveloped body with a little bit of a belly.
What if he like rips his shirt off and he's just made out of fucking hands? Looks like Freddy Krueger with all the faces in him, but they're just little wiggly hands.
Gross. That's gonna give me nightmares. They just pump like 6 shots into Scorch, and he goes off the edge.
Yep.
Pretty unceremonious death there. Later.
Yeah.
And then Hemlock's holding the gun to Omega's head. He's in a bit of a pickle here because he's basically got no ride. He has to somehow walk past the two of them, and he can't shoot Omega, and she's told him this. You can't shoot me. I'm like your fucking chip. I'm your bargaining chip or your whatever.
I'm all that's left.
So that's when we get this great bit of teamwork here with the batch, because Hunter is, he's helping Crosshair brace his weapon, and he's telling Crosshair, hey, take the shot. And he's worried about hitting Omega, and he's like, she knows what she's doing. Wait till she does the thing, and then shoot the binders.
Well, this is like the 3rd or 4th time this episode that has shown like how much she's become the bad, like how much she's learned from them.
Oh yeah,
because like they're almost like a hive mind at this point.
They are, and yeah, she smart idea keeping that little device up her sleeve.
Yeah, her shiv, Omega's shiv.
That thing. Talk about one of the most useful tools in the history of the show. It's that.
Yeah.
So she jams this thing into his leg, holds up her arm just enough so that Crosshair can shoot the bindings, and then they just make Swiss cheese of Hemlock's body.
Oh, man.
Just fucking boom, 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 boom. Shoot him like a bunch of times. He falls off. Now, does he survive? Just kidding.
Oh.
Can you imagine?
There's a shot where like he falls to the ground and lays next to Tech's dead body.
Yeah, he's like, oh, there you are. Yeah. We just found the glasses.
Right.
Then in a very emotional moment, Omega walks over to the two of them and just, runs up and hugs Crosshair first. And he's kind of like surprised.
Well, yeah, after she notices that he can no longer wave with his right hand.
Oh, you poor guy.
Maybe I'll hug you first.
Hugs him, hugs them both. So we get this nice little moment with them. And then they head to the shuttle. By the way, it was funny because the first time I watched it, you do see them when I rewatched it get on the shuttle. But the first time I watched it, I thought, is that the rest of the crew getting on the shuttle, but these 3 are still going to have to get out separately? I didn't realize they were actually on the shuttle.
Yeah.
They fly out. They make the jump. We get one of those cool scenes where they make the jump right before the cavalry shows up.
Yep. Yeah.
Star Destroyer. It's Tarkin. He gets the update that the data's been destroyed when he goes down to the surface of the planet, and that Hemlock's dead. He doesn't seem to be too bothered about that. Then he's like, oh, perfect opportunity. Let's shut this whole thing down and let's divert those funds to Stardust. Which is funny because it's like, would that gal be the one to tell to do that, or would he just do that on his own? Like, why was he just kind of throwing it out there? Like, yeah,
that's what I was gonna say. Is like we're in this secret place that nobody knows about, and I'm asking you. No, I'm shouting for you to shut everything down and divert all the funds to another secret place that nobody knows about.
Right. She was, and she's acting like when people tell you stuff and you're just acting like that's what she was doing. She's like, oh yeah, of course we would do that. Yeah, that makes
I'm gonna have to look that one up.
Yeah, she's like leaning over to the guy next door. What the fuck is Stardust?
Right.
I don't know that. So yeah, that's obviously the Death Star, and kind of explains, to a degree how this whole cloning project gets tabled forever.
Just sits down.
All focus goes to the Death Star. So we get back to Pabu, which appears to be in good shape again. It's sunny. People are hanging out in the little, courtyard. People are eating sushi. It's a great time. Everything's fine.
It's weird seeing those Jedi kids in real clothes.
Yeah, it is.
Like, that was just awkward.
Well, and I feel like the clone cadet guys just keep getting new threads. Like every time we see them, they got a new outfit on. It's pretty impressive. Because that's the joke with cartoons or animated series all the time.
Get new clothes.
They never change. They're always wearing the same outfit the whole time because they don't want to have to. So then we get this conversation between Emery and Echo. They're having a chat kind of about like what's next. And Emery's, she's taking those rose-colored glasses off.
Oh, Echo's looking at her like that's not his sister.
I'm telling you right now.
He got lost, man. He's like, I don't even recognize you. He's like, if you take that hair out of that ponytail and wave your lion's mane around, I'm not going to be able to control myself.
I may be like Cyborg, but I still got a working dick.
Yeah.
Just saying. Actually, it's enhanced.
I got more flesh in my pants than I do everywhere else on my body.
I thought it was going to be it's enhanced. Like when they were rebuilding him, he's like, "Can you please make it bigger?" Yeah, I mean, it's Star Wars. Siblings. Who gives a fuck, right?
Exactly. Right. Yeah. This is the spin-off series everyone wants.
Oh my God. So yeah, she's kind of in her casual mode now, although she's still got the same damn outfit on. She really needs to change. And Echo's telling her, hey, like we could use your help with Senator Chuchi. So if you want to come with me to Pantora, then, we got a lot of time on the way to Pantora, get to know each other.
I got a queen size bed.
There's definitely a vibe there. I'm telling you, it's not everybody I think noticed it.
We saw it.
So then we flip over to Omega, and she's asking, is it going to take long to find these kids' families? And Hunter says, Rex and I are working on it. So we see Wrecker and Crosshair come over and sit down.
That's a great shot.
It is a cool shot to see them all together, just kind of finally being able to relax.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to do something about Crosshair's hand because it's just a stump now. So I hope they have plans for that.
Echo's going to hollow it out so that way they can handshake.
Doc.
Yeah.
I was thinking that. I was like, yeah, what else are you going to do with that thing? Like put like a container of toothpicks because, he loves those toothpicks.
Right.
He's got that oral fixation because he quit smoking a few years ago. Finally, Hunter says, clones' lives are now their own. They get to choose whatever they want to be.
Right.
Which is a little foreshadowing.
Yeah.
So now we fast forward. 10 years? 15 years? How many years?
Probably in between that somewhere.
It's got to be because she's looking much older. And as far as what she's about to say, it makes sense to be significantly later.
Yeah.
So again, Ash Rendar walks into the cave. Wasn't Ash Rendar. It's so at this point, she's probably in her like mid-20s, I'm guessing, would be about how old she would be.
That's what it looks like, yeah.
And it's cool because you're seeing the fact that they got to be there for a while and fucking chill out and live their lives and kind of have this moment to grow up a little bit.
Yeah, because I guess everyone that knew where they would be died.
I think so. I don't know that. I mean, you'd think there'd be some records somewhere, but yeah, everybody is dead. You know, unless it was like Wolf. No, because Wolf didn't. Yeah, no, Wolf didn't go there. That was that other place. Yeah, so yeah, nobody knows where that is.
Right.
So yeah, they're safe, having fun, relaxing, that beach life. Did you notice that she's wearing his bandana as her hairband? That was kind of cool.
Right, that was cool.
So then she's trying to sneak off, and of course, Mr. Sixth Sense Hunter is just sitting there waiting for her.
He's like, it's like coming home late from curfew, and Dad turns the light on,
sitting on the stairs.
Yep.
Flip.
Where were you?
We're gonna talk about this in the morning. I'm just gonna let you know you're in deep shit.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, he is looking old, a little bit more gravelly. Got the full beard. And so, yeah, I mean, he's aged quite a bit. And she tells him the rebellion needs pilots now more than ever. Then they just, like we talked about earlier, they're just trying to make all us moms and dads out there fucking bawl our eyes out with this scene because It is exactly, and you've experienced this more than me because a couple of your kids are older.
Yeah.
It's that moment of like, I've got to let I've done my job and raised my kid. I got to let them go out and do their thing. Even though he is saying all the things that everybody thinks, which is like, I'm not sure I'm ready, but obviously they're ready.
Yeah.
Especially doing what she wants to do. Like my older son wants to go in the Air Force. And I'm like, oh God, this is the exact conversation I'm going to have.
Yeah.
In like 3 years or whatever,
scary.
4 years. So it's
right. You're not
scary.
just going off into the world and getting an apartment and maybe, drinking a little too much one night. Like you're going off to potentially die.
He literally wants to go fly planes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's so what she's doing is obviously very dangerous. They know they've prepared her and he feels good about that in the end. He says to Batcher, like, she'll be all right.
Right.
Of course, you don't know that. She's going off to war. But I think it's that tweener between we want to protect you. You're always going to be our daughter. But also, like, we got to let you go do your thing.
Got to let you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and then he says, as she's leaving, if you ever need us, we'll be there. Sniff, sniff. So again, I told my kids they needed Kleenex. They didn't need Kleenex for the scene, but
So if they need pilots more than ever, this is right around the time Luke Skywalker wants to become a pilot.
I'm thinking it's that.
Right?
I'm thinking I'm thinking it could be anywhere between. It could be anywhere in the first, or like the 5 years that build up to A New Hope. So like Rebels era, Star Wars Rebels era, because that starts about 5 years before. So it's in that zone somewhere. We're not sure exactly where, but certainly before the Death Star attack and all that stuff. So yeah, kind of around that time frame. And as she gets on board, we see she's taking Tech's goggles with her, because Tech is dead. We've confirmed.
He's dead.
Tech is dead. And it's something to kind of remember her brothers by. So that's, or her fathers, whatever you want to call them. So that's it. I was going to say we can kind of put a bow on this episode, discuss kind of what that means next. We kind of got into it a little bit there, but I think we can talk about like maybe where we'll see her pop up and stuff. We are going to do that episode in 2 weeks where we look back on the whole series so we can get into all that stuff then. But yeah, like what comes next? Because it's quite an open-ended finish for Omega, which is good. And given where she's heading, are we going to see her pop up in another series? I've seen people speculate. Everything's been thrown out. Like Andor season 2, I don't think so. Ahsoka season 2, maybe. She fucking knows Hera.
Yeah, right.
Granted, they were kids then. Obviously, the Grogu Grogu Mando film or the Filoni film, you could see her pop up potentially. So do we see her in live action again, or are we going to see her in some animated series? And is there going to be some sort of spinoff specifically about her? I don't know if they jump right back into her.
Yeah, I don't know either. It doesn't seem like that's. It definitely left it open, right? So, the way they're doing things, it does seem like we'll probably see her in live action next, unless tomorrow they announce the next series, because there was a few things they can do from this point on, right? But I mean, the big one I think is her story.
Yes.
I mean, there was not even a fucking tease of whether she was Force sensitive, right?
No, I mean you've given us little hints and bits about it, but nothing that really tells you that she's.
But what's the point of bringing back Asajj if you're not doing anything with that character or that story or the two of them, or you're alluding to something that, I mean, there's a lot there for no reason at all for them to be like, oh, she's not Force sensitive.
The only reason to do that and bring back Asajj and do that is just because you're setting up Asajj for her own stuff. But still, why would you do it in that way? I don't know. I don't think it makes sense. I think there's got to be something with that. Maybe they should just ask George to go ahead and recut A New Hope again and just work her into that.
There we go. They're going to have to remake the fucking Star Wars movies now just to get all these characters that never took place during that time.
It's like Red 7 standing by. You're like, wait, what? And what's next for the clones? I don't think we're going to see Hunter and Wrecker and Crosshair again, unless it's something in animated form. We're not going to see these guys in live action. So will we see them again in any way?
I wouldn't be surprised if they showed up for something, but I don't think they're going to be like main characters anything again. Yeah. And I think really this like kind of bookends the Clone Wars stuff. Like there's really no reason that we could see like one of the older guys again. Like they showed him in Rebels. You might get a little tease of something, but really that's all been said and done. I think it really has to do with where her character goes. And, now that we know that Thrawn is back, and if you go to the Heir to the Empire books, he's well aware of Mount Tantus. So I wonder if he's the one that ends up there and turns everything back online, or is aware of something. So
yeah, no, I think you might be right. It makes sense to just let that story with at least those particular clones go. Like to just be like,
right.
And they lived somewhat happily ever after. Like let them have their rest and chill out because they've gone through a lot.
Yep.
But it does make you think about other stuff as far as like, we never did see Rex again or Cody or any of those people. And that little reference that Hunter makes about, Rex and I are working on that plan to get the kids back to their parents.
Right.
It leaves some threads open there if you wanted to do something with it. But yeah, I just feel like let the Bad Batch rest and that's kind of it. I think that's fine. As much as I'd like to see them again.
There's a good 10, 15 years still where they could pop up in stories that take place then. If they're doing stuff with getting these kids back, and we know they're force sensitive. So does that connect to what do they call it, the path? Or
the path, right? Yeah, a lot of people have speculated about the path. There was a lot of talk about is there still going to be some sort of another clone specific story that happens. I don't know, but the path makes sense. They've set it up a lot in a bunch of different series. Are you happy with the show ending kind of on a happy note versus being like real dark with a lot more loss?
Yeah, after seeing it, like it made complete sense, right? Because at the end of the day, this kind of is a kid show, so like we were looking for death and mayhem, and someone's got to die. But no, I think the right ones died, right? They killed the villains off, which you can always kind of get away with, and I think it makes the tech death just that much more real, right?
Agreed.
So I thought it was the best episode since the premiere episodes.
It was fantastic, and it was one of those where, I sat down and was just like.
Yeah.
Knowing we had a couple days to record and stuff, I know I didn't need to take any notes when I'm looking at it the first time or anything like that. And I just sat there and fucking sat back and enjoyed the shit.
Took it in. Yeah.
Yeah. It was
great.
A really great episode. And yes, Rebels ends on a happy note. Granted, there's some cliffhanger stuff. Clone Wars certainly ends on a pretty dour note. So it's a little different in that regard, but I thought it made sense to wrap this up kind of more friendly. I'm surprised Crosshair made it. But in the end, I'm glad he did because he deserves to fucking just chill out. Yeah. All right. Anything else on that? And, obviously we'll get back to it in a couple weeks and kind of look back on the whole series. But anything else on Bad Batch?
Nope. I'll save my words till then.
Save your words. Let's go to the Maul Bag. Email number 1, Max Rebo Experience. I hope you had a satisfactory Bad Batch finale. He says it again. Said that last week.
Jeez.
I'm probably rolling my eyes at the 40% of what you got wrong. Wow.
All right. Let's be fair. We got a lot wrong.
We did get a lot wrong.
But you know what, Max? You had fun with us.
That's true. And a lot of people got a lot wrong. A lot of people guessed wrong. And we do, he is playing into our 60%, so that's fair.
That is fair.
My predictions of mass clone casualties was mostly wrong, and I guess that's okay for a kid's show. At least they didn't cheapen Tech's death by bringing him back. I agree with that.
We're all on the same page.
Yes. As much as I was sad to see Tech go, he did need to stay dead. After all the build-up, the CX troopers...
Oh, what? You saw it too. Sorry, go ahead.
After all the build-up, the CX troopers seemed like a Wish version of the Knights of Ren. There you go.
A Wish version.
Is that like Make-A-Wish version?
No, isn't Wish like that cheap-ass website that people buy shit on? It's like from China, but like all the pictures look like it's real good shit. Like it's kind of like Amazon, but like for $4.
It's a knockoff.
Yes, severely.
It's like the New York street vendors of online.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Oh, that's funny. You want a Rolex? Yeah, it's $20. That seems odd. Yeah. He says, Chumps dying, chump deaths. Although chopping off Crosshair's hand was metal. Speaking of which, how often does Wrecker ask Crosshairs to give him a hand? Daily? It's still not funny, Wrecker. I look forward to every unnamed Rebel pilot being declared as Omega. Of course.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
There's going to be a lot of that. I guess I better ask you a question. How long until people start shipping Omega and Jin? Could be Omega and Jin in the Rebellion, those two getting together. Although I kind of feel like maybe you should be shipping Omega and insert X-Wing pilot's name here. Maybe she gets together with Biggs. Maybe she gets together with Porkins.
Oh, she likes the big guys.
I feel like maybe Porkins, she feels bad for Porkins, so she's just like, here's my boobs. You can just see it once. Porkins is like, thank you. Yeah. Now I can die on the trench run. Yeah.
You're about to see some Omega titties.
There's going to be... Yeah, I'm interested. I'm so interested to see what they're going to do with her. There's so many possibilities of how they could take that character and work it into a story or people we know. It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool to see.
You think she'll be kind of like an adventurer?
Like on her own?
Yeah.
More so than like part of the organized rebellion?
Well, at first, like if we picked up with her, Like, I don't see her just flying straight to the rebellion and be like, hey, you guys need a pilot?
Yeah, what's up? I'm here.
Right. Or I guess they would take her right away. But, she seems like she's got a little bit of that fee in her.
Yeah, I could see her being, she could be her own like lone operative kind of situation.
Right.
I heard somebody say, she's Vel in Andor. No, she's not. She's not Vel. Just because she had her hair pulled back, she's not
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, I could see her working on like a smaller scale, like, working with like a smaller cell of group or whatever, like kind of like maybe going out and kind of helping people prepare themselves, like maybe she's the trainer, goes out there and gets like groups ready to fucking fight.
I want the Boba Fett and Omega.
There's a good chance we'll see that at some point, I think.
Yeah.
I think there's still a chance. Brother? Okay, that's it for the Maul Bag. Let's go to the answering machine. Again, I told you this is from his car. And I'm going to try to play this. This is from Hyperspace Heroes Brown Leader.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep.
Hey, boyos, it's Brown Leader signing in. And no theme music this time since I'm using your new fancy-dancy voicemail line.
That's not fancy.
Just wanted to throw another contribution into the question of the week since we're running out of chances for the entries of those sweet 80s action figures. And you had asked about the next animated series, and I think it's going to be 50 Shades of Mothma.
Uh-oh. Buckle up, Jay.
Well, I don't mind this idea, but you better just, tread lightly. Be respectful.
Here we go.
All about Mon's early years when she was younger and climbing the political ranks, gaining power somehow.
She was married at like 16 to Perrin, wasn't she?
They got married real young.
Right. Maybe that's why Perrin's got a stick in his ass, is because he had to fucking hear all about it.
Yeah, he's insinuating some stuff here. Well, it's almost done.
Maybe influencing the bankers. I don't know, but
is that what
something along those lines. So there you go, Jay. And as a little postscript to this voicemail, you guys had spent a few minutes trying to figure out where we're located, and we are north of you in Traverse City, Michigan.
Oh.
So that's why we're nowhere near a theater that was going to play the Star Wars Marathon. So hope that answers a few things for you guys, and keep up the good work.
All right. Thank you, Hyperspace Hero. So what did he say? He said Traverse City?
Traverse City. Yeah, it's like 2.5 hours from me.
Oh, you guys can meet up.
Yeah, it's a nice little place, actually. And we go up there once or twice a year. So actually, you know what? I'll have to get a hold of them because I think we're going to take the kids there in a month or two. So we'll be out there. Yeah.
Take pictures.
That's right.
All right, that's it.
That's it. That's the episode. Wow. All right, thank you for listening. Until next week, next time.
Laugh it up, fuzzballs.
We have spoken.